schedule, just a workshop, nothing else as a change. But I think what it would allow us to have is we have the ability to bring all the staff in. If there's a question, we know that we've got, of course, we always have Lewis and Steve Repo here, and Dan comes to 99% of them, but if we have a question with Gene Minner or with Chip, Parks and Rec, there you go. You could bring them in and ask those questions. And based on our workshops, we normally have Mr. Lemon or Mr. Litzenberg or Mr. Nicholson attending our meetings. I don't think it would be a hindrance to any of the folks that's been attending our meetings. It comes down to whether or not, I know that you're in town, you work night shifts, you're retired, and I'm on the road, so it comes down to kind of us a little bit. But give it some thought, let's kind of make a decision on it maybe at the next meeting or two, and think if this is something we want to permanently want to change to make the workshop meeting a lunch meeting. Just throw it out there. Give it some thought, yay, nay, positives, negatives, and so forth. All right, with that, Dan, we have brought you in for the Public Works fiscal year 2017 budget, and I wanted to mention that I met with Brian and Dan both last Tuesday, and we went over a few items in here, and I think that he's just going to kind of repeat what you talked to me, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
Okay, I didn't have this by any means, I had this little worksheet you gave me.
Yeah.
But go ahead and lay it on us.
There you go. Essentially, well, good afternoon, everybody. Basically, this is our operating budget for the fiscal year 2017. Basically, at the beginning, we talked about the overview of the department, including my current staffing needs and my requested staffing needs. After that, it's broken into 3 different sections. It's broken into
Dan, can I interrupt you real quick?
Sure.
Before we get into 2017, let's talk a little bit about 2016, where we're at today.
Sure.
Last year, the board approved an additional body for into the repair. You finally got someone hired. How's that going? You got 2 repair people now?
It's going fantastic. It's going very well.
Going well?
Yeah. They're both ASC certified mechanics, and everything is just it's going very well. In fact, if you look at the 99 capital this year, I'm not asking for any vehicles because everything's being incorporated into the repairs.
Very good.
So that's why, give it and take it away.
You made some changes in your structure
Yes.
last year.
Yes, I did.
How is that working? Or this year?
That's working also very well because I've broken it down into like 4 different departments, which is shown in my organizational chart down there. Basically, I have the 4 groups. I've got stormwater management, I've got town services, I've got infrastructure, I've got purchasing with Brian, and then office support. So by condensing everything out, it's doing very well because it's a lot more efficient now. And I've got people actually reporting to crew leaders, and the daily activities are increasing, so the efficiency is improving as well.
Okay, and I was looking over your items that we approved last year, and I just want to kind of get an idea and let the board know where we may or may not be. When we spoke last week, you either have or you've ordered the 2 5-ton dump trucks.
Correct, the big order, correct.
You've got the 4 salt spreaders, which was approved in the budget.
Yes.
You got the 2 F-350 trucks.
Yes.
Well, one, actually, they're both on their way. One is ordered to be in probably about 2 months.
The other one's here.
You had the dump trailer,
Yes.
an F-550 dump body truck with plow and salt spreader.
Yeah, that's ordered, and we're probably about 2 months out on that.
You X'd out the chipper,
Correct.
so you didn't purchase the chipper that you were approved for.
Correct.
You ordered the 48-inch mower. You've got the towable air compressor
Yes.
and the hydraulic sheet metal bender for, okay. Very good, all right. So there's nothing else really in your budget that you're going to be acquiring the rest of the year?
Correct.
Well, based on what we had, okay.
Correct.
I'm sorry for that. Now you're back on. Just kind of want, any comments about
Who'd you order the mower from?
2016?
American Service. American Service. Do you have bids?
Yes, we did. One was great, and the other was us.
When did you order
beginning is your review of the department, my personnel request. I'm asking for additional full bodies, all the infrastructure department. 2 for the sewer crew, 2 additionals, 1 additional for the water crew, and 1 additional for the concrete crew itself. And the excavations, you know, you can read the excavation on the second page. Again, as for the capital items, for 99, which we'll get to, again, I'm asking for any vehicles, my request is going way down. Or in fact, the bulk of what I'm looking for is for 99, and we'll get to it. It's just to increase, and because the tenants are doing so well, I'm actually updating our facility itself. We can actually, you know, handle these more equipment, so. We got that going on. I think I asked for a couple of mowers and 1 small utility vehicle. That's all I want to be on.
Then with your sidewalk crew, do you all pour even during this time of the weather, or do you reserve that basically to the spring or the summer?
It's case by case. If it's warm enough and it's a small amount, if we can cover it, we try to pull it down.
Okay.
But it's gotta be small pours. My guys can get up for small pours. With the additional person, I can get bigger pours.
Okay.
We found out we're very good at knocking things out. We don't want to keep things laying forever, so.
Okay.
And just to clarify this, I'm looking at the chart. You wanted to add 2 additional people in the sewer side.
Yes.
So you want to add 2 in the sewer. You wanted to add 1 additional on the sidewalk crew.
Correct.
And then in the water department, currently you have 4, and you're saying you need 4, but you're saying that we're sharing 1 guy currently with the finance department.
Correct.
And you want to have an additional body along with that.
Correct.
Okay.
4 people? What you're talking about, you're adding 4 people?
No, yeah, total of 4, correct.
Okay, and you gave your explanation in here, we can all review.
Feel free to go through it. Other than that, you can feel free to page through it. I mean, it's probably the easiest way of doing this. If you have any questions, I actually have what I've requested previously and then what I'm requesting this time. You can see my numbers for the most part are pretty much the same, so.
Well, let's go through it page by page if we got plenty of time. So the,
No problem.
okay, I'm looking at the telephone,
Right.
object 12. You're actually requesting a little bit higher than last year. You went from 10.5 to 11,000. And you think that there's going to be an additional cost?
But because last year we spent about, exactly, it was 10,500 last year, so. But 1 additional cell phone, it picks it up a little bit, so that's one we try to cover all of this.
Object 13, you're requesting $2,500 professional services. This is for explain professional services to me.
Professional services, that's the, like, when you go to Ahmed, that's the testing that way. It covers
Okay.
the Ahmed testing and your.
Does that include the drug testing and
Yes.
so forth?
That's everything correct. That's all drug testing stuff.
Okay,
Drug testing has been spotty at best. Actually, we haven't been drug testing.
No, but it's online now because it went from a mail to
What did we do with it?
a
How much did
electronic.
we spend out of that account?
I'm sorry?
How much did we spend out of that account last year?
I don't know.
Yeah, Dan, you have last year's
Well,
report.
I got, from 2014, I got my portion, oh, that was 2014. In 2014, we spent like 22, 26. That was in 2014, I don't have a 15.
probably 0.
No, we have more than that, we have more than that so far, we have approximately, 865 so far. And that's not up to date, that's, and 865, we probably have another, what, another 5 or 6 on top of that.
Drug
Oh,
testing.
no,
Drug testing.
No, drug, there was another portion of that. What was the other portion of that?
Just DOT, we got DOT physical and everything from Ahmed, everything is Ahmed, so that's from Ahmed.
How are you saying the name of that company?
Occupational medicine.
Oh,
Yeah.
This one's not Ahmed, the person.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, it's Union Hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, 14, postage.
Here.
What is our postage? $160. Tell me, I know it's not much money, but wouldn't we just bring all the postage up to,
We do.
Well, we do.
It's on your account. Yeah.
But you put in your department.
Yeah.
abilities.
We're good. That's all it is, it's the machine does it all.
the machine will,
Correct.
credit towards your department, or debit it towards.
Charge if they put it in right,
Fifteen travel meals, that's, fortunately, we haven't touched too much about so far this year. We've been lucky because the snow hasn't fallen from the sky, which is a good thing, so hopefully, cross our fingers, we don't use much of that one.
So this is used normally when we have a snow system, and then you send them to, Golden Corral to get something to eat, or Elkton Diner, or, is that correct?
Actually, we do bring everything back. The way I operate is, everybody gets on one receipt, I'll bring it out, bring it back, and it also gives them reason to get the camaraderie and things going on at the same time, so. They know how to eat, so trust me. Especially up all night, they'll tell you, they know what, they know how it works.
Okay, 17, dues and subscriptions.
This analyze this one because we're upgrading this one. The reason why is we're requesting a GPS for 6 vehicles. This would be a rental to see if it works or not, because we have the radios and we have the cell phones, but sometimes there's some guys you can't get a hold of, they're out away from the vehicle and all that stuff. So I like to do this GPS for a safety issue and also just for efficiency to see what's going on. Instead of purchasing the system, there's a rental program involved, so we'll see rental on certain units and see that, do you get what you want without committing to return with it. So I've got that, that's why I've got that requesting for 4,500 on top of that. And the item before that one, Shopkey software, you can explain that one.
Yeah, that's a diagnostic software. Basically, right now in the shop, we have a scanner, it's a Voda scanner, which is Snap-on, so it'll read a code, and then from there, if there's further trouble down the line, that's where Shopkey comes into play. Basically, it's an online schematic and that, so they can actually drill down to the detail to find the problem with the vehicle. So right now, we don't have that. We can, we get the level of it to read the code, but that's kind of it. Some of them are not as simple, that code equals X. You have to drill it down into the detail, and that's where the Shopkey software comes into play.
And these are the mechanics that are familiar with this.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they're used to this system.
Right.
Exactly. And what we found out is instead of sending things out, because right now, we're actually, in our budget this year, we're buying a lot more parts because they do things in-house, but it works out well that way. This goes hand in hand versus taking the vehicles out. That's all we do, so.
Right, in the past, with something like that, we would have, basically hit a roadblock unless someone kind of
You
reviewed
have to
the
send it
past
to someone
history.
else to.
Right, that we had to send it out to it.
Is that 2,200 yearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it the license fee? Is it a license?
Yeah, it's basically a software
Okay,
license
that's
fee.
what I thought. Okay.
It's an online tool, so,
Okay.
we could set up the,
Who's it through?
actually through Snap-on. Yeah.
You familiar with this? Is that a direction to go, Snap-on, or would you?
That's Snap-on's fine. Any of them are going to be somewhere around there. Obviously, knowing me, I'd want bids, but Snap-on's a reputable name, and they can't do everything that a dealership can do, but it would definitely create more efficiency. Streamline things, a couple of things, you know exactly what it is, not walking down the line trying to figure out what it is.
Right, it takes out the guesswork and all that needs, where they're not just throwing parts at it, they're.
Right.
Throwing
The GPS on the 6 vehicles, now what are we trying to accomplish here?
It becomes very handy, especially for the grass crew. It's a great example. A lot of times, you're not sure where they're at. They're cutting, but you're not exactly sure what neighborhoods they're at, so you can track them down that way. You also track down for the brush and the grass crew services, because you get the call, they haven't been in my neighborhood yet, you can go, yes, they are, we can just prove that kind of information, so.
Will this GPS tell how, if the truck is running, idling,
Yes.
it'll tell you
Yes.
if they exceeded the speed limit in a certain
Yes.
area?
Right, there's, with the GPS, there's really two different, ways that we could go. One is with the current system we have, we'd have to buy a server and, do that kind of in-house. But it'll give you the level of detail, like the idle time, the speed, and that kind of thing. It pretty much just gives you, a point where they are, but it really doesn't tell you a history of where they went.
Mhm.
So this gives you, basically everything.
I was gonna ask, was the GPS portable from one vehicle to the other? Because if you're gonna invest into GPS, you wanna be able to make sure you transfer it.
This is why we want to rent just for 6 of them to see for the time being. But we want to target specific vehicles to see if it works. If it's a good system, then you can expand it out, and you can evaluation without marrying into the whole system. So that's why we want to basically do a sample from it. So that's,
Yeah, to answer that question go a little further, that you can, but there's an installation involved, with each vehicle. So if you wanted to, it's not really something you could easily, just move over to another vehicle. It has to be reinstalled, but in the end, you can move it, but there's an installation.
Very good. Any other questions with that?
I got a question.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Is there
Lemon.
anything in there as far as rent to buy?
You can actually, you can buy the system, and this is just a rent. I don't think it's rent to buy. This is a lot of municipalities are renting the system for the same amount, only for $7,500 per year versus buying the whole system
You know what I'm
itself.
saying, you rent it the whole year, and maybe that would be offset some of the purchase price if you decide to purchase.
Yeah, that's something we could look into.
We can look into that. We can look into that. Right now, I just wanted to see what the rental fee looks like first. If it looks like it's giving us what we need, then we can research.
Well, have that information for us. I think it probably wouldn't hurt to have it. I know.
We'll find it. We'll find out. It's not a problem.
That's a question that I have also. I have one more thing on that. It's $750 per unit, per vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Is there $750 of savings by adding this on to each vehicle?
That's why I just wanted to do the 6 versus doing the whole fleet. That's what I wanted to find out. In other words, what kind of information do we get, and is it worthwhile the money we're investing? That's why I'm asking the question, because I don't know. To actually go through the whole system.
Is this the type system, if they were to get pulled over by DOT or something, they could press and log out all where they've been, information? And is it that in-depth or no?
I'm not sure
Well,
what
they-
I like a commercial truck.
Yeah, it's not a commercial truck.
Okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to, if that's what you're saying.
So this is more or less a tracking.
It is web-based too, so, you know.
Right, so yeah, there would be,
And you'll have
Give me a couple
computer
widgets.
printout
Oh,
from
yeah.
where they've been, what they've done.
you could pull all that data. if need be.
Right.
Vehicle. And then just say that's web-based, so
Right.
really for many.
Right.
In a commercial truck, and they have limits on time drivers can operate, all that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so I just didn't know
If they go
if
past
this
the
was
exit,
a similar type.
phone call.
Right.
And look, I'm all for accountability. I mean, I'm sure you guys know that. What is your baseline though in doing this? And it's something that I didn't have the opportunity to continue with you guys, is that you establish a baseline to take a look at cost factor later on. So have you already established a baseline for this extra $4,500 for 6 months? Within 6 months, right?
This
No,
is,
6 vehicles.
6 vehicles for a year.
Right.
For a year.
Right.
So have you established a baseline? How are you going to establish a baseline? When are you going to establish that baseline? You understand what I'm saying,
yeah,
right?
that's something that we have to.
We have to work on that, yeah. Frankly, so.
Okay. I'd like to see it. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, object 27, requesting $78,000 for repairs and maintenance. Maintenance charges, repairs for vehicles and small equipment. So you're asking for the same amount that you had last year?
And what we're finding out with our mechanics is we're doing, we're actually, we're going through, the budget is sending stuff out, it's all parts coming in, so we're doing a very good job keeping on top of it. And our gut feeling is after the next year, so we think it's really going to level out or start dropping, that's our gut feeling. So after they've seen almost all the equipment around here, they're just attacking me, which is very good, we're doing a very good job at it.
Where are we at right now, as far as money spent in 16? Department 320-027.
27. Yeah, I got 50, as of, when this report was drawn, was from January 5th, we're at 57,232 spent, and we have about 20,767 in the account.
Very good.
So a lot of that, the other thing we do is, that's misleading to a point, we do a lot of, blanket POs to make it easier. In other words, we have blanket POs when we buy our tires, to make it easier that way. We have blanket POs for seasonal parts, still little things that way, so. We'll actually encumber a lot of that money, just to, we buy like, say, like 500 from the tires, just to hold it, when we need them, we just draw from it. And then when we get to when it's done, we close it out to another one, so we keep track of it that way, so. It's like, well,
And you're expecting this account to go You're putting parts into this account, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But if we're buying more parts and
Oh, this-
shipping it out,
We're not sending it out to
Right.
contractors to fix it, because we're
so
able
you're
to
not,
fix
you
it.
can't say that you expect the account to go down.
I think,
Well, for fiscal year 18, in other words, I mean, you know, this is just a snapshot we have right there. After we have everything together, we have a fresh set of eyes looking at the equipment itself, and then at the very end.
They've been there for what, 3 months?
about, yeah.
Since
About
November.
3 months, so it's a good snapshot, a quarter snapshot.
Yes.
Has your parts increased?
Well, right now it has, because there was just so much that needed to be serviced. So that, you know, the expenses right now are going up. You know, they're going through everything. Once they're done, you know, it should, you know, come,
You mean you had a backlog
right.
Yes.
of
Right.
repair work?
Right.
Okay, that's why and you have two competent mechanics working on these things and it's gonna use up,
Right.
that, you know,
Yeah.
like I said.
So you expect that to decrease after a year?
Yeah, down.
Then you go right into it's strictly a maintenance mode, so there's no deterrent, so.
All right, contracted services. Let's see, you're looking at,
That's it, that's when we talk about the LCA. Now, the LCA, Brian can get more detail on that one, which is our, the LCA is, I think everybody here is familiar with it, that's how we track all our fleet services. Since we have the mechanics and everything, we're actually going to upgrade that to make it to a web base, and we actually do more of the reporting, so you can address that more, for sure.
Yeah, right, right now, the system we have, the dossier system we have right now is housed, you know, within the DPW, it's basically, it's what it is. It's on one computer there, so there's really no redundancy, you know, as far as that goes. It's, you know, somewhat outdated. So this here, the 1710 quarterly, you know, again, is a web-based solution. You know, the backup and the redundancy, you know, is on their side, so, you know, housed on their system, we have the benefit there that, you know, we shouldn't really have to worry of loss of data. You know, like right now, we have it on one hard drive. You know, the only other option there would be to back it up on another hard drive, but, and then just the updates, you know, as far as new software enhancements that they would make, we would automatically get them. But right now, we have to pay for that. Software, you know, is ours, and if something were to change, enhancements on their side, you know, we have to buy that. So, you know, there is obviously an increased cost, you know, because we're doing this quarterly, and, you know, 1710 quarter, but, you know, the data's a lot more secure, and then we have, you know, the updated information that we constantly get.
are we using that system?
Right now, yeah, we do. We do.
We're committed to it? I mean, are we committed to this system?
Yeah.
Because I had looked over some of the reports from prior, and it just didn't look like all the information was added in correctly and so forth, and
And that's what, yeah, that's what we're trying to do right now, is that, you know, if we get all that, the pertinent data in there, you know, where it wasn't before, and, you know, make sure we have, and then, you know, there's additional and newer reporting, you know, with this as well. That's one of the other benefits. And, you know, we were looking at as far as the mechanics back in the shop back there, is putting the console, you know, back there so they can, you know, actually look at things, you know, not just, you know, being told, you know, hey, the service is coming up. They can be a little bit more proactive, you know, have a screen where it shows that, you know, maybe in a week, you know, this truck or this mower or whatever it is getting ready to come up, and they can manage their time a little bit, you know, better with that too. Maybe, you know, they bring it in a little bit earlier, you know, those kind of things. So there's, you know, definitely good benefit of that.
any questions?
Is this compatible with your gas boy?
Yes, it can, that's a separate module, and off the top of my head, I don't have the number for that, but there's a data feed, for that to import that in here for mileage and that. So, you know, we can actually have it back there, but there is, yeah, it is compatible.
I'd like to know how much that would be. That shouldn't be a lot of money as far as a small ad.
Yeah, no, I think it's, you know, don't quote me on it, maybe a couple hundred
Couple
dollars.
$100, yeah. And also, is this calculating hours for us, engine hours?
That, I'm not sure.
When you put your gas away, it's all mileage for regular vehicles, but for
Right.
mowers and everything, I'm not sure, you don't.
Well,
Input that data, do you?
Yeah, the hours, yes.
The hours for motors you import, or you input, but the hours on the engine, they don't. And the issue with that is.
That's what I mean, I don't know what,
Yeah.
how you read engine hours and what equipment,
Well,
like
this-
backhoes and stuff.
Yeah, the system will know, it knows, you know, idle time, run time, and all that, so it probably can, but I would never find out.
And my concern is the idle time on the trucks.
Right. And it does, I know it does capture that, so it probably, you know, would almost inevitably have to know that, so, you know, we can find out to be sure.
Thank you.
One of the things I brought up before was with these, equipment, vehicles, whatever you have down in public works, with your preventive maintenance, you're talking about maybe bringing it in early, knowing that it's due to come for an inspection or whatever. I would like to see somewhere down the road where each department, maybe, get a line item of what they use in each department. And before using it, I think I brought this up before, there should be a check and, balance for each, piece of equipment before you use it. In that preventive maintenance, there should be something, a quarterly or monthly. These departments should be, I want to say, in charge of making sure that these pieces of equipment have been checked, so that it doesn't have everything fall on that one person. Check the equipment. You understand what I'm saying?
Like before they go in.
So if it's 100 pieces of equipment, 25 to this department, 25 to this department because they use them or whoever, and then when they do check it, not monthly, quarterly, whatever, when it comes up to be due to be serviced, you already know that there's a log or.
We do, utilize the DOT trip reports.
Well, we do the pre-trip and the post-trip, just every day, because the operator actually knows, like, if there's a brake problem, the mechanic won't know, but the operator will, so that's why, we do the pre and post-trip, bringing down the going on the vehicle itself, and then we file it. We review it in-house internally, and then we log it in.
That's each day?
Yes, yeah, right now, we use the DOT trip reports, you know, for the most part on almost all of our equipment. So, you know, whether it's a lawnmower or a truck or, you know, air compressor, whatever, towable air compressor, whatever it is, they'll write down the engine hours, you know, they'll go over to check the oil, they'll note that on the trip reports, and if there's any failures within that, you know, if they added oil, they'll note that down, and then that type of information goes into dossier as well. So that's kind of our, right now, that's our internal trigger that, you know, if somebody goes out to, you know, get in their truck, that they'll go through their inspection, they'll do a walk around, they'll check the oil, they'll check the entry, and if they see that, you know, the tire is low or something's wrong with it, they'll note that on there if it's something that's, you know, dangerous to where it's not, it shouldn't be driven. They'll note that on there and go right into the shop. You know, that all goes into dossier.
Very good. All right, contracted services, $3,000, what is that?
That is the stuff we necessarily won't do in-house. In other words, we'll have, removal of these nasty, visual bad horse, those doing some of that work themselves. Any like towing, if the case is not covered, spouse brothers, some of that. My, compressor, ice maker, that's covering that also. That comes from the same cost. So, just odds and ends throughout the year, stuff that we won't do in-house. It's very minimal, like 3,000, so. So far today, we spent like 1,500, 1,471, so.
You need 3,000.
I'm projecting out, although it's just a snapshot, I'm not sure what else is going on until I see what's going on. So that's why, based on previous experiences, I should try to do the same number, that's all. It's only February right now, and I'm projecting out till next year.
Budget started in June. Right.
So I'm not-
July first.
So this will go through.
So it's been hot.
What you say, 15?
Yeah, so far this year's been 15. So far. Yeah.
We contracted out some tree maintenance too.
Exactly, tree maintenance goes into that one also.
What does? tree maintenance, you're cutting trees, like
Yeah.
wires.
Yeah, we don't allow them near, to do work if it's around electrical wires, because our guys, we're not trained for that, but we can do other work, you know, isolated work like in the parks and on roads and stuff.
All right, next item 32, request $30,000. You've increased your engineering costs. You got 4 projects here.
Okay, well, in addition, this also ties up with our sidewalk projects that we're doing. That's all the KCI portions of my 320, after this particular building itself. And other than the projects we know about, which are 2 sidewalks, Main Street, High Street, and we got Buttonwoods. In addition to that, we also got some surveying on Jones Chapel, because eventually I need to expand my area, so I run out of area. I got the 2016 road restoration project, and then I've got my portions of whatever road projects we have, which is well 2 R 5 and whatever else pops up for the year, which is the services for us.
Very good.
I got a question on that.
Sure.
We're going through a remodel in our used car department, and the contractor we're using has their own engineers. Why are we subbing engineer to KCI when a lot of the stuff that we do, that we hire contractors to do, they have their own engineering? It almost seems like a redundancy there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I've heard,
I think it might be a better question for
I've
you to
heard
answer.
all of them
Well,
ask the same question.
KCI, when they do our road work and everything, you don't hire a contractor to do the specifications, the contractor uses to do the work. You give them the specification, then engineering has to be done. A lot of the engineering involves stormwater management, you have to go out and do surveys and elevations and everything for stormwater
No, we
management.
do a lot of
There's a
great-
lot to it, it's not just drawing a plan on a flat piece of paper, it's a lot of field work.
And we do typical line of grade, like line of grade, like shooting grade, we can do that based on what points to get, we can do that in-house. We do that.
I'm not doubting that KCI isn't needed. I'm not saying that at all, but there's times where I just kind of scratch my head going, this sidewalk is done. If it was somebody putting in a sidewalk in a neighborhood, they're not hiring an outside engineer, they have their own people, and it just, sometimes I just
We don't
think
use an
we're
engineer for like small residential projects that they do. When you do a project on Main Street or on a state highway, you actually have to submit a plan to state highway for review, and also the maintenance and traffic.
When you do
program
highway
has to be set up.
concrete for expansion beams and stoplights and everything else, I get it. I
And those are
understand.
engineering for those types of things.
I don't know, based on that.
I have questioned engineers for the longest time. Because, and Louis explaining, if we were to hire, because I had looked into one time, if we hired, probably the most costly engineer would be $90,000 a year. But there's so many different ones with specialties, we'd still have to hire out. And so that's the way I was explaining.
A good example is like, when you do a project that's like wayfinding
Right.
signs, there's so many specifications that have to be done. It's not only the engineer, there's CAD operators and reviewers and everything. And it's like, probably in a project like this, before it even gets to a contractor like Gelberg Signs, my God, it probably goes to 5 or 6 disciplines to do that. Now, they really need to do that because then it has to be sent to Office of Traffic and Safety for review. Theoretically, it comes back without too many comments. But even with that, it comes back with comments. How you can do stuff like that?
I know Cecil County Department of Public Works probably has about
Oh, yeah, they got-
seven Ps in staff, but they do know, they sub everything out. They do know interior work that way, because, you know, they get overwhelmed, so the good Ps is manage what they have.
I guess basically we always did question engineering services, but I guess in Louis, every day working with the board, I guess it says KCI can, as you all just mentioned, can do the specialty things, so.
And
that other
there are
engineers can't
capital
do.
projects like water towers.
Right.
We always go through engineering on that because when you have it, you put it out to, there's so many aspects, structural and the types of paints and the potability issues and all those types of things. You have to have expertise in that. So, and we've been successful because most of them, all the major capital projects involving our tanks, we've actually recovered 75% of the cost of it through grants. So,
I can tell you the ones that frustrate me also has always been, and I use in the planning side of things. A developer comes in, he has his engineer, and he lays out his plan. His engineer has certified that this plan is okay, and then we review it.
And we find all
And I know we do.
But
I know we do, but then we'll send it to KCI, and they'll find errors, and it just seems like we're finding in-house, I have an extreme amount of confidence in-house with our planner and our division.
Gina finds lots of stuff.
Because she finds more than KCI finds.
More than KCI.
But that's where it gets a little, the review side of things. And I think if there was a way that we could find a way to cut costs on reviews,
And we charge the developer.
it does get charged for.
Yeah, we don't, taxpayers don't pay for that. Most of them.
All right, page 10. Okay, you're cutting back on your printer ink cartridges and office supplies. All right. Page 11, you really dropped down on your supplies and operating from fiscal year 16.
You get the bump.
Okay, we had to bump because this is where we put the holiday decorations in this
Yes, sir.
account.
Kind of worked out. It's over budget too, man.
All right. Number 12, minor equipment. You've increased your minor equipment. You went from 6,000 to 10,000. So you're looking at wanting to purchase 3 trimmers, 2 backpack blowers.
Small things. No, everything that would be capital, so they capital over it now, so it's just small things. You still bid it out, but it should be there for capital items, so.
Update shop tools and new barricades. Yeah, there you go. All new cones.
Yeah.
We got some new guys. I got a truckload of them. I'm gonna end up giving them to the town.
How much?
They may be a
36-inch
donation.
cones, do they have the reflective things on them?
Yeah, they're the tall new ones, like you got.
Big ones.
I have some sweating how much you sell them for.
But, so we're going to partner that, just cross the street one day over there.
There you go. With that, I'm surprised that we didn't get those last year, quite frankly. I know that we were hurting for trimmers. The backpack blowers, what's that, like a still with the,
Right.
are they cordless today, or are they gas?
It's good.
May want to take a look at the cordless ones. I don't know if they're,
Yeah, they don't,
I would,
what do you like?
buy the gas ones, long term. Yeah.
People's gonna start cutting the cord, cutting it. It's all in cordless. You guys gotta know, we're on the cordless. Everything's cord, this whole world's gonna be cordless.
We want cordless whacker, it's certainly that good.
Yeah,
And having things, you know, for our.
Tim the tool man would not buy.
they're good for like, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ponds are not.
I lived in a townhouse.
All right, very
Exactly.
good. All right, training and education.
That's just training programs throughout the year. In fact, we're currently working with Cecil College. They've got defensive driving, and they actually have a defensive driving class with a simulator. We're in the process of signing up for that right now. It's kind of interesting with the guys. So, you know, you can actually, again, another safety issue we let you use defensive driving. You learn this will happen.
What about confined space?
I think we brought it to, yeah, we had.
I didn't know you did that.
Oh, we already had that class.
Guess what I thought, I knew you had a class.
Yeah,
And the T2 center, all the places? that-
Yeah, all the T2 centers are actually doing that thing. We've also got some management training, we're working with Cecil College, so we got some local stuff. Like Louis said, we have the T2 centers we use in Delaware and Maryland all the time. I use some, my inspectors use them. We teach you all kinds of stuff, we're maintenance, construction, inspections, and all that stuff. So this is everything for the year, so keep the same amount. Last year's edition.
Very good. The only comment I'd like to make is I believe in continuing education and continuing training. And there's quite a few trade shows across the country that I don't know of any regionally, but the one that I mentioned last year, the World of Concrete, which I normally attend every year, and I'm not going this year. But it's one that you guys might want to take a look at. It's, I think, just about be shocked how many public works departments across the country go to this, but you'll learn in the more concrete that we're pouring ourselves, it's, you know, don't be scared by the name World of Concrete. It's just everything, piece of equipment, new technology. It's a unique visit.
MML too. And touch on the MML in the convention center, they target a lot of PPW.
Yes, they do.
People too, you know, the different
Okay,
equipment and services offered. Huh?
Yeah.
Precision concrete cutting, they found that, so that's pretty well.
Well, that's
Yes,
what I'm
in
saying,
the
what
solar,
they have.
send the solar folks, but I think it would be important maybe for the public works department to come down for one day, maybe Dan, you and your supervisors,
Brian, maybe.
do the walkthrough.
So the work at the college, is that just merely training and that certification as well, or both?
Training.
Straight.
Yeah.
Okay, uniforms, uniform costs are going up, it looks like.
That's sent to us?
Yeah, no, it's, uniform.
Uniforms, okay.
Is that, you know, I don't know much about the uniforms, but is there a contract with this, or is it year to year?
Yeah, we have a contract with them.
We're on contract.
Yeah, I don't know how it's determined.
Right.
I don't know, probably an annual contract.
I take a look, I mean, as they start to creep, you might want to shop them around a little bit.
Mine's a 3-year contract for uniform.
Okay, is it with that company?
And those with G&K. There's Florida, Baltimore, there's a whole bunch of them out there.
Yeah, I just got a call from Cintas the other day.
Yeah, Centos, I know, is floating around.
Take a look at a couple of them.
Be careful with them right now. They called out Z Medical and everything else. So just be
Okay,
careful.
once you look, you know, look at.
Yeah, you might be able to cut that. Okay, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks, why is that going down?
The reason we had the 150 because we actually used precision concrete cutting, a big chunk of that actually took care of the majority of the town. So I'm holding 20,000 for them to do some neighborhoods now, because of all of our work last year. So that's, again, I'm holding most of the money.
Instead of rebuilding all the sidewalks, reconstruction, that, they shaved off these things before what they said.
How do we think that went?
I thought it went well. Well, it went very well.
I mean, what was any, from the residents' standpoint?
There's only one person who didn't like it, so.
The-
My clerk.
Yeah.
There's one architect that didn't like it.
That's the only one I heard. Have you heard any feedback, John? I know you're here.
That's the only negative I heard. I'll tell you, from everyone that builds, that was really good. Probably, you're not gonna ever recognize the savings, right, because it comes out of the pot, so there's a pot, but.
It's potential cost, exactly, so,
And-
you know.
It's a good defense for liability, about the efforts, the ongoing efforts. to-
And I think as it ages, it's gonna blend in.
Yeah.
Won't it blend in with age a little bit?
Sure.
You didn't like it?
I'm not, my issue is not for or against, my issue is the accountability. DPW did not oversee it properly, they had no idea where they were.
I thought you had a list.
Well, list, yeah, exactly, that was, yeah.
Always know exactly where they were. Look, this is not tactful, it is accountability, that's all. And I sat here in a meeting asking where they were, and people would explain to me that they'll be eventually getting out to my area. They had already been out there for 2 weeks, and I had sent an email to the entire board about that, that they had already been out there. My concern is there were worse curbs in my neighborhood, or sidewalks in my neighborhood, that they should have done than the ones that they actually did. So who picked them? Did somebody go out and pick them? Did they pick them? How do you know that they were doing the worst ones to begin with? That, if we're going to spend the money, and believe me, I'm all about being preventive maintenance, but I just didn't like the way that it was done at all. Because there was definitely some other ones that they should have done, and there's some that they should have not have done at all. You ride my neighborhood, and there's sidewalks because of the trees. It's been cold weather, it's already starting to separate, and they're going to have to do it again, and that will do it again, and then we're going to replace that sidewalk because of the tree, which they should have never done that to begin with, Mike. So that's, and we had talked about that, and there was like 30% of them that were, 30% that were identified were tree related. So we weren't going to do those, but they ended up doing those anyhow. So in my eyes, it was a waste of money as far as those particular spots. Again, it just keeping an eye on everything. I just didn't like the way that it went.
With the apocalypse is a differential, that's we tackle the differential area. It's not obvious.
And I'm just saying that there was worse in certain neighborhoods that they should have done. And that somebody should have went out there and watched them and then get mad at us. Nonetheless, I think we identified it was 30%. Wasn't that the number? It was 30%?
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. No, it was like 30%. We can go back to the tape, I'm typically not wrong with numbers. 30% is what was stated that was tree related that would have to be done something later on. But those were still done. So again, if we're going to do them, replace the sidewalks, take out the trees, Lewis talked about boxes that weren't put in some neighborhoods and stuff. So that's my concern, is that again, we're going to spend money and not have the appropriate accountability for the money being spent.
Something that goes more shooting out the shit, we can find out, we assessment, that's what we're. We did Chapel Run, we did Patriots Club, we did downtown, those are the areas I'm focusing on.
Take a look at them and see if they, what spots they missed. We'll take a look for it.
Well, the downtown was the highest risk.
Right, that's the
Risk
first thing.
it was, and they were the principal threats. So, and I know that, but.
Then I opened up the other ones with the obvious, between the Patriots Club, because the utility settlement, and Chapel Run was the truth, that's why, that's, let's get the obvious ones to see how we do it.
Very good. All right, street repaving to be announced.
That's been rolled out, the way that comes in, how is that moving along?
Yeah, we're gonna put the speed humps for, Mount Holland Drive in this spring. So,
Well-
I think there'll be about 5 of them.
Well, just to be very clear, we have money
Yes.
currently for,
Yeah, we'll get a couple estimates, we'll get a couple upgrades to the estimate during the course of the year.
Okay.
The budget.
yeah,
Plus
we
are
currently
staying
have
on.
money in the account that is,
Can only be spent for this.
not only can be spent for the paving or bulkheading.
What was that?
Bulkheading, Howard,
I'm not sure that would be used.
Yeah.
Exactly, and actually, the biggest
it
thing
can
last
be
year is
used,
that
it can be
people-
used also for building a train station.
And the road, we used to, one of the reasons he doesn't, I didn't encourage him to have a plan, is because the rec center will require the town to construct a road from south and, on High Street to the property. Under the laws that governing the restricted fund, you can actually construct public streets. So we don't know what that's gonna cost yet.
Understand.
One of the components of that would be buy out, the owners of all of the parcels in there, and we can use that money for the purposes of constructing that road, which would be very expensive.
All right, number 17, snow and ice removal, that has to be down right now.
Oh, where's that?
Here we
All
go.
right, very
So,
good.
it's all, yeah, where do you go? It's something, I'm controlling the weather. I've had files ready since October.
And it was, and the comment would be, why are you increasing it if we haven't spent any this year?
Yeah, you know.
And you're at 50 now.
Why don't we increase the request?
I'm gonna go by averages, because right now, again, I'm just doing the weather forecasting, because I remember a couple of years ago when we went back. So all I'm doing is, I'm just guessing about, instead of what we used last year, I just bumped it up from $5,000, because I know how much salt we went through. This year we haven't used it, and if I don't use it, I don't get it. So right now, I've got my.
We wouldn't spend it, so it just go over the fund.
That's it.
That's all. Just don't
And
spend
then
it.
it says 2-year average.
That's how much we spent, like, 2 hours.
It's not, I mean,
It's not a 2-year.
It's not a
Yeah.
2 year.
If we got salt left over, you won't have much in that account.
Exactly. Yeah. If you go to a sewer plant, you actually see what's stored out. It's actually stored out. You can see it. You got a big bill for it.
Okay, storm drains. We budgeted 10 grand, you're asking for another 10 grand. Where are we at on storm drains in general? I know that we have done more storm drains, I think, this year than in the past. Sounds like a low number to me, actually.
Right now, today, about 4,700. Today. 47,600. No, I'm sorry, yeah, 4,700. today. And we got more coming, we get more stuff more. Just waiting for the weather to cool off.
Of course, we've seen the ongoing list of storm drains. Is this like a continual cycle that you have to go through and repair, or is it going to be a year that we won't have any storm drains that we need to do?
We should be able to do several years without it. I mean, that would be the goal with, with what they're doing right now. They should be able to go, hard to say because it's salt heats them up and, right now they're using brick and mortar. And it seems like brick is nice and warm.
They changed the code on that to the wet brick. Away from the other concrete.
So the concrete blocks they were using the super porous.
It was terrible. I went out on the one there at Patriots Glen, it was a mess. How they collapsed.
Because we got almost 1,700 catch basins in the town, so that's why. Typically, we inspect, and if they're in good shape, we repair them, they repair them every year, so. So we generally do one type of work series first, and then what we'll do is put it in by year.
What's your annual estimate of being able to get to how many of them per year?
Let me get back to that.
All righty, the next item is your capital. You're requesting $89,000 in a capital fund. Last year, or current year, 233,000. So you've dropped it 150,000, but once again, I know that we wanted to buy as much as we could this year moving forward. So you're looking at a utility vehicle that can be used to spray the curbs throughout the town, snow removal, maintenance, storm ponds, and a utility vehicle, is that like the Gator is what you were thinking?
Yes.
With some type of bucket in the back of it that you could physically get around the storm, fences and so forth, and keep them down. The 3 zero-turn mowers, we currently have 3. They're in poor condition and they need to be replaced.
And we have a total of 5 we're doing this. We're reserving a couple of the mowers for the pond, so we can actually.
Did you get the walk behind?
Yes, it is walk behind. Yes.
Okay, because I knew you were getting the
Yeah,
walk behind.
we got that also, so. So out of the 3, we think 3 we can replace, the other 2 we can keep salvaging because we keep up on blood functioning for you, so. that's why we're investing in 3.
The shop tools you're looking for is a 8-ton rated lift. So currently, we don't have a lift that could lift a 515 truck.
Yeah, the list that we have are, older. There's one specifically that's, really should be replaced as far as safety and that kind of thing.
The original?
I think the one.
I think one is original.
The one on the end, I think, is
Right.
closest to the shop floor use. I think that's the original one, I believe. And then, we wanted to, upgrade it there.
How often do you guys replace lifts?
I just did 4 of them, so there were 15 years old, 15.
These are, I think these are a bit older than that.
And we went to a different kind also. Actually, you might want to check MOSHA as far as the specs for that too. They changed a couple things there. Actually, I'm adding one right now. So it'll be 5. I'm adding one.
That'd be good. Get that information. I'm sure that.
Well, I'm sure Williams is motion compliant, so you can get the specs from that. I'm waiting for him. I can't look at my phone. I'm waiting for him to show up right now.
DJ might have the inside on the specs.
There you go.
What kind of lifts were they need?
Find out.
Do you use single cylinders now, or are they the ones that
They're
are
electric, but, yeah.
electric?
Yeah.
All kinds of safety catches. You got to go up extra inches. There's all kinds of issues. There's also proportion or if one side goes down a little bit further than the other side, everything stops.
Do we have a pit?
No.
Is that something that we should consider? I don't know. Is that, would that?
I don't think anymore as far as, I don't think.
I'm just going with what Jiffy Lube does.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Not a good idea.
We're getting rid of it.
You had, I was gonna say, you had the pit.
We're getting rid of it.
How long's it been?
In 3 to 5 years.
Oh,
we're
oh,
getting
in
rid
3
of
to
it.
5 years.
Yeah, we're building another one back in that corner, already zoned for it, thank God.
I don't know about that.
I know we're already zoned like that. But anyhow.
Okay, tire balancer. Currently, this will handle 17, above 17 inch, so we're limited to 17-inch wheels now. What trucks are above 17 inch?
Well, most of what's added is police, EPD, or I think they're 2021, some of them, not all of them.
And even changing the tire, we can't change one of the tires.
The tire changer that we have right now is iffy on that. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to get, we haven't had to yet, but I don't think we're gonna change on that.
Okay, air compressor, auto AC recovery system. You'd recover.
The refrigerant, and, yeah, the thing is, you know, right now, as far as that, we can't recover. The 2 mechanics we have now are certified, either to be able to do that, also to be able to charge for the proper amount of oil, as well as the refrigerant, because all the newer vehicles are more particular on that charge now. So, you know, that's one thing, recovery of it, to be able to charge both sides, the oil as well as the refrigerant.
Very good. Any questions on that, guys, ladies?
How big are the police car wheels?
Some of them are 20 or 21. I think they're 20.
20 inches?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
All the way from the old days of 15, 14s, and 13s.
Yeah, they do.
12s on my Ford Falcon.
That's true.
A long time ago.
Okay, page 20, stormwater pond maintenance. This has always been a big deal with me. How did we make out in 2016, beginning of the year? And I know we're not finished yet. Have we called up with the storm ponds?
Oh, as far as the maintenance?
Yeah.
We're in pretty good shape with them now, yeah. There's two left that are, I don't even want to say they're real big or not, but they're, it needs some attention. They're the next 2, actually they're working, they're finishing up the money with you. Today, they should be, for the most part, done with that.
What about Kensington Courts?
We're done in there.
There was a couple really bad ones in there on the,
Yeah.
especially the,
The one back,
Holland, is that where it is? One was like back in the woods.
yeah, that one's done, yeah, that one.
It looked like a forest.
Yeah,
You know.
that's the difficult with, because that's pretty much all, you know, going in with blades on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, there's no roading.
You can't ride any of that. There's, even the DRMR, the brush cutter mower we have, it's just too steep for that. So it's all blades on the 2 buttons on there with, because it's all sapling too.
There's a good example of when an engineer does a plan for a stormwater pond, they look at the space in which they want to capture stormwater and they have to put a fence up, but they use that, they look at that in conjunction with where they can put more houses in too. So they're not looking at the town, which is turned over to the town for maintenance. So actually, you want to give a lot of scrutiny to how those ponds are laid out in development, because you may end up in a situation we had in Kensington Courts where you can't get to it. You literally have to walk there. I mean, you know, rather
So
than.
we can't even drive anything back there?
Not now, I know that one side,
Yeah, the
but I
one-
don't know how you can get in there unless.
Yeah, the
someone
one-
has to open it up, huh?
There's the one spot we can access it, there's actually 2 spots we can access it, there's water constantly runs in there, it's flat all the time, so it's, yeah, they're walking in there.
Wow.
So, yeah, that one just got done 2 weeks ago.
What does increase due to WIP stand for? At a
Oh.
radio station?
Well, the watershed improvement program, we're still waiting for them to come out, because eventually they're gonna, they keep talking about basin management practices, but they're so hard to identify what they want exactly. So we incur some costs, we're just keeping the money there, just in case we have to survey, in case we have to work through with some bonds. Again, we're waiting for, it's been sitting there for years, we just don't know when they're coming. They'll come eventually, we just don't know when. I just wanna keep popping the money, just in case they show up, we can survey.
So we have money sitting there just in case.
Whenever WIP shows up. I mean, I'm projecting now till June, till June, 16 or 17, so. I'm not sure what they want. Nobody knows what base management practices are. I mean, so far I've spent about 25 grand. So far
That's
this
what
year.
Sydney does, right?
That's what Sydney does, right? It's all Sydney.
Because Gene Minner and Sydney and, I'm not sure if Terry's involved, that watershed implementation plan, the county, it's a nightmare.
Right.
It'd be a nightmare for us because actually stormwater is captured, it has to be naturally treated, for lack of a better term, before it's discharged. So it gets more complicated in the amount of how long you retain it, what type of stormwater pond, how it's released, methodologies involved in best practices and everything. Very complex thing, but it's so complex that the Maryland Department of the Environment really hadn't dropped the hammer on anybody yet. That's why you've been sitting on it. One of these days it will drop.
And listen, I want to ask the board that as you're making your notes through here, please reach out to me. And we're asking questions here, but if there's anything that you think is needs to be reduced or raised, certainly send it back to me. And I mean, that's what we're all here for that input. Okay, the next item, I think that's self-explanatory. We've met with the,
Exactly, that's all that is.
okay, that was certified seal.
Correct.
Tree service, you're keeping the same. Tree servicers are used when there might be a liability, understand? GIS mapping, this is an update to what, is this coming through to planners money, or do we have our own mapping system down here, please?
It goes back to the same thing we use for the clinic up there, the case just monitoring. It's the same, we have stormwater management, we have water lines, sewer lines, just updates as they go, in case there's any changes. This is, so it's a good thing. That's all it is. So it has the same maps that you available for all the departments.
Like whenever new development, unfortunately, we don't have any lot of new
I
development.
think that's why the price has been down lately.
Yeah.
All right, going into the water fund.
Water fund, for the majority, Steve can vouch for this one, most of this is all between the finance department and Sever and Trent. I've got little portions of it, and that's kind of what I put in this itself. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to breeze through this pretty quick, because this is something that we'll meet with Sever and Trent. And this is your portion of the postage, I see that. The next one, $1,000 is going to be applied toward, this is probably all yours. Provision for meals during overtime,
Yeah,
gotcha.
it was an order leak, we should take that up on
Okay. This is your cost toward advertising for the hydrant flushing. Page 4, dues and subscriptions, the magazines.
Yeah, excuse me, I'm doing 42.
Guilty.
Yeah, you want to be in contempt.
What side are you on?
Wins.
That's it.
That's always a good answer.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I meant to ask you, do you have any issue with the resolution amending the penalty?
Yeah, I thought we had discussed that. I'm fine with it.
No, okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure because that's one of the issues we want to discuss.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And I owe you a written answer on the statute of limitations issue.
Right, that's fine. That's not an urgent thing. But I was kind of curious about the, making sure that this resolution was okay.
Now, resolution's fine, the statute of limitation, the Reader's Digest version is, I think it starts when we send the bill. And I know that there are others that are going to say, the recipients are probably going to argue otherwise. But I don't know that they can prevail on that because they knew or should have known that they weren't getting it.
Water.
Yeah. See, some people are claiming statute of limitations, but court rules containing statute of limitations for civil or criminal cases are matters before the court. This isn't a matter before the church unless a claim is filed or the specification is.
Did we only go back 3 years for delinquency?
No.
No,
We went back.
we can cover all that, but I'm not gonna pretend to know the law, I just,
Well, the question.
I just wanna make sure, because, you know, if we get that claim, I think when the bill's presented, that's when it kicks in, you know what I mean?
That's what, and the issue isn't when's the end date, the question is when does it start? Right? And I think it starts, you present the bill. Now, if you present 20 bills, and the 20th one you go, we were never paid for the second one, I think you got a 3-year issue there. But.
We're not gonna run into that problem, because we, president.
All right. Very good. The water fund repairs and maintenance is, this is repairs of vehicles and equipment associated to the water fund.
It's strictly water.
Now, how much have we, you don't have that?
I don't have that.
Okay. So all these, okay, so we're gonna just kind of talk about them and we'll get the crunch number. This is, Sever and Trent will bring those numbers over to us. During those, okay, water fund, alarm monitoring, why do you think that went down, for the alarm monitoring?
Well, my portion's just the 82.
That's your portion, okay, gotcha, I keep getting confused there, valve replacement, so really, I need Sever and Trent to answer
Right,
this.
and we can, you know, it's specific as well. The only thing you want to look at is under 99, you look at the capital, you know, I've requested the capital for the water fund this year. So that's fine.
Okay, 99, 0 on the capital, you're not asking for anything in the water department. Last year, we did 260,000, so.
Right, because mix that, you know, portion on the other vehicle.
That was the truck.
Yeah, the truck, that's right.
Raceway maintenance, we don't expect it to be any high costs this year. We're in pretty good shape. Just general, maybe going out there to scoop. But in fiscal 16, we probably didn't even spend that $50,000, did we?
This one we might have, because we actually did a lot in-house. In fact, that's where we did,
We
we rented out a long stick. We actually did something in-house where we actually did our own mini dredging project on the other side of Powers Pond. That worked out very well. In fact, that worked out so well, while we still had the equipment on rental, we paid to move it up to, Friendship Heights?
Yeah.
Yeah, Friendship Heights, and we actually got our wood out. Yeah, we actually did it in-house. Instead of having a contractor, we just picked it out. and worked out pretty well.
Always had to rent the equipment.
Yeah. And from there, we also had, we were able to hire, at the Crossroads, actually took the wood for us. We were able to dump it for free, off the 3 cents, so that worked out good.
In the raceway, what you had talked about the other night, potential costs.
This is different. This is the raceway maintenance at the mouth of the race. The raceway issue I was talking about was actually under the permit. This is different.
And the sewer's gonna fall the same way.
Exactly. So, right, the other thing I have is under 99 for that one,
I'm looking at 99, what are you looking for?
just repairs to the sewer trailer, that's all, 30,000. Just repair the camera trailer. This guy, unfortunately, I go to Kentucky getting paid, so that's no good.
Is it the exterior of the trailer, or is it,
It's the guts inside the trailer. Okay,
The camera.
So, camera trailer.
The camera itself, equipment, you know, needs to be updated, upgraded. There's some issues with the tractor, you know, going down the line, that's, not working.
That's gonna cost 30 grand to do all that.
Yeah.
How long is it gonna be down?
We did that.
all right,
Can we get a loaner when we do that?
I think we can.
We
we'll
might,
make it,
in some cases, I think, we might be able to.
Okay, because I'm probably, sounding like.
Somebody, will we research, before we ship anything out, we'll research it to see what's like.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I can't got no.
Dan, during our meeting, there was a few other things you addressed with me. One was just making the board aware of the cost per ton for recycling is going up from $4 a ton to $22.50.
Because 1850, that's transportation, right?
Right.
So just to make the board aware, these are costs that we have, you know, there's not much we can do about it, but it's gonna go from $4.
It cost us last year.
It's gonna be about $18,000.
$4 last year, when they're changing it to 22.
22.50, and that's,
And the reason this came about is because, oddly enough, because the price of petroleum got so low, you know, all the recyclable materials they ship out overseas, you know, now they're not using as much, now they're getting more particular, so. Really, Cecil County sort of, the landfill sort of that, because they had issues with their person who took the stuff.
we were, and this is grass
To
clippings.
answer your question,
This is grass clippings.
Stop.
It is, that's what I want to
It's grass
stress.
clipping, that's right.
This is grass clippings,
Stop it, there you go.
and it's the wood debris is what is going up, correct? Or no, is this recycling?
It's recycling.
Recycling, oh.
The other.
Okay, I haven't got to the grass clippings yet. I haven't got to the grass clippings yet. But $22.50 a ton, so we're not sure how that's.
$18,000.
It was about $18,000 in recycling costs to the town last year, I think is what you.
At $4, right?
Well, here's a big difference. We only take so much to the landfill. When I say we, waste management takes so much to the landfill. That's what the charge increase will be from the $4 to the $22.50. We recycle much more than that, but it currently is not going to our landfill. We're not paying for it. But we don't know this dramatic drop in the price of recycling. It may end up back to our landfill again, then we will be bearing that cost. So we're going to meet tomorrow with Mr. Mike Stagg to see what their plans are moving forward, waste management plans are moving forward as far as further recycling.
Yeah,
Where they're gonna
That
send
could have
it.
material impact on our bills to the county.
Okay, very good. One of the, well, I guess that's it. That's it. Oh, here's what I wanted to talk to you about. Next year, and I mentioned this to you, and I just want the board to think about this once again, and we don't need any answers today, but really give it some thought. Currently, right now, in Meadow Park, we don't have any drops for electric service. I know that we've been looking at redoing the lighting on the back, but one of the thoughts that I had is next year I'd love to light that park up in a way for the holidays. Maybe some spirit contest between organizations that they could put, decorate an area out at the park, whether it's this pavilion or a tree, or bring your own tree, or do a pole, but make it to where it's lit up and we can kind of create like a little tourism. But I know we're going to need electric down there. So I want you to kind of think of how we can get electric off of those poles in some way that, and that we'd only have the ability to get to it. Because I think we're going to need electric to pull this off. Now, we could use generators, but I think it would be good to have electric source down there. But give us some thought. If it's a lot of money, then we won't do any of this, but I just want to put that in your.
So what you're thinking, the poles that are already existing there?
Yes.
Would be sufficient light, or would it need additional light?
I think that, certainly I'm not an electrician, but I always think that if you could pull some type of wire off of that, there has to be electric there, and maybe there's ways that you could put a panel box to where there's 12 plugs into it per se.
The
And then you could run.
firehouse has it in their ceilings. It comes down and then it spreads out to 6 cords, extension cords.
Yeah.
So it comes from the main there in the roof. There's, I think, maybe 4 of them.
Mr. Lemon, you got a comment with that?
Please, this presentation that was made on lighting for downtown, didn't he bring up the fact that you could put lights out there on cells or something like that? That you wouldn't have to run wiring to the lights?
Yeah,
No, that's
Earl
only-
mentioned-
that'd
has
only be
questioned
daylight.
that for the big lights. Earl had questioned that for the
I
big
don't understand it then.
solar.
No.
It would only be daylight.
You got the right idea.
So you're saying, you're thinking that we could do a solar light? I don't know if that solar light would generate enough for that plug.
Oh, no, you couldn't. You actually have to have 120 volts or 240 or whatever service you have. You have to have regulated voltage and amps, and it has to be ground fault and all that. You have to have professional but.
Well, I just want,
But I mean, of course it can be done.
listen, first of all, I want to know if the board's going to buy in to, that this is a good idea to have another event during the holidays where, you know, it brings the spirit of community together, and if this is something we want to do. If we want to do it, then we need to figure out a way that we can get electric down there. Because I think we're going to need
electric to each pavilion, right?
I think that we just need some source of electricity panel that you can hook extension cords into. But I think it needs to be where it's locked off to where we're not giving out free electricity by any means, but it's just for whatever venues we want. There's no electric down there at the pavilion now currently?
Not the pavilion. Now, you've got, where the boxes for the lights, that's where the box is, that's where your circuit goes from there. And from there you have to expand it out.
Isn't there another one by the one pavilion?
Oh,
There's a front by the creek.
And certainly, if you had lighting at each pavilion, that would really circumvent the whole area, I tell you that, plus additional lighting, yeah.
Now, we know it floods. I don't know how that works with so I know how water and electricity mix, but just give it some thought. I mean, I'm not asking, this is a team effort here. This is all team. All right, so that was a discussion about the lights. Dan, I guess that's all we had in regards to your, we got a few other items that flew. Oh, Mr. Levin.
Compliment Dan on a very good presentation.
Thank you.
I thought there was, it looked to me like a lot of thought went into it. I'm running some numbers while he talks. I don't think you increased your budget for next year overall.
In fact, it went under, so.
It looks like even if you had the 4 people, it looks to me like you're in line, or if you had one area of question mark there, you don't have numbers, but everything else. But it looks to me like you put a lot of thought into it. It's very well presented.
My team got together, you know. Ryan ran out my numbers, and my team
Well,
was also did very
team
well.
effort.
Yes.
There we go.
Congratulations to you and the team.
Oh, yeah, that's why I give them all my crew members, you know.
Very good.
Believe
Okay.
me, it takes a while to put together.
Lou, you have, let's talk about the
Street lights.
street lights. We got 2 areas that we talked about street lighting. One was at the end of,
One is the first one I did.
Thank you, sir.
Village in Jarman, at the intersection there. And I had met with the Scott Smith with Delmarva out there. And he was good job for me, but right at the intersection. It cost me $3,420 to install those lights in 48 a month. For the first 50 watts, sodium filter style light. We put the 250 watt up because it's an intersection, and it's a street light on the residential street to the 100 watt. And the cost there's no cost for installation at Chalice Drive because actually we're going to put it right next to the transformer. Okay, we're going to charge for that. And then the cost would be $27.09 per month.
I wonder why it's so much less.
That's why it really is a
Because
spirit.
there's no installation cost for Chalice, because they're putting the pole next to the transformer. They recover their cost. I'm sorry?
Per month is.
The electrical costs.
It's 100 watt for Chalice, 250.
Oh, 250.
Or 250 is for Jarman, because we light up an intersection much later.
Where is that light proposed to go?
And every dinner, okay, I'll tell you.
You know where my house is.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying, I actually sent a Google Earth
My neighbor asked me, and I said I wasn't sure because you were going out to see where the electric was.
Well, I would say this, that maybe next Wednesday at the meeting, if anyone wants to move forward with either of these projects, let us know.
Well, I didn't figure the Chalice would be a big issue because the cost is not very great. The other one, I mean, if somebody wanted a lot of lights up, you're talking, and it's an underground service, you're talking big money. You're starting to talk thousands of dollars. Anyway, So I'll bring it up at the meeting.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, the next item, Resolution R1, 2016, the charter of the town for the offenses. You got the okay, it looks good from John Downs' perspective?
All it does is change the 6 months to 90 days. 90 days under state law, Maryland state law.
No, we got,
restricts
that's
the
not
district
right.
court
Remember,
and
we
no jury
wait
trial.
to see if she got a loan
So,
from the bank, which was
I
not
think
there
that-
because she got went to the court. I'm sorry.
I didn't change any of the other things, except I dropped out the language or the circuit court because it was no longer.
375, 375.
So I can bring this up at the next meeting.
Okay.
Once this is adopted and becomes effective, I think, 50 days later.
Okay.
We'll bring.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
50
Hey, we're gonna, that was motion. We're gonna bring, we're gonna bring the lighting up next week. If anyone wants to move forward with it, we'll take a motion and a vote.
I'm actually, it's for safety, yeah.
And then we just went over the charter change on the.
Why are we changing that? What is that?
We went from 6 months to 90 days on a penalty.
And by the way, there's no right to jury trial.
For which, the penalty for what?
Anything.
Anything in
It's
our
a
town.
charter. In the charter, you establish your penalty for any misdemeanor offense. In other words, any ordinance within the code itself,
I got you.
defined as a misdemeanor, defaults back to whatever
But
that
then
penalty
they can actually ask for a jury trial later, though. They
Yes.
still have the opportunity, we're not waiving or
No, we're
removing
not,
anybody's rights.
not changing human rights. We're just reducing the fine for them. You like that? We're making it easier. Okay, the last item is the citizens guide. Every one of you guys, take a look at this, make some notes on it. Let's see, we got, I do have the actual calls. I got it in my van, it was under, Michelle's gonna get. The estimate, I think, was 2,400 with the Cecil wig, and then it was, if we wanted to mail it out, it was gonna be about that much in postage.
How much was the postage?
Yeah, it was,
For how many
How much?
votes?
2,400?
everyone's home, yeah.
About 5,500 votes, right?
$2,400, is that what you said?
Cecil Wig would do it on a, now we're gonna put this out on bid, to our local folks here, but Cecil Wig gave a budget number, and it was, I think it was 2,400.
No, for, the original quote was for 48 pages, you have a little bit less than that in front of you. But the original one was approximately, was 48 pages, would be $4,500 mailed to approximately 6,500 residents, and that includes the whole
really cheap.
That's
package.
what I was thinking, too. I'm signing up for that.
Yeah.
Printing and postage, the whole.
Printing and postage, $4,800 for this resident guide,
Okay.
for 6,500 copies.
That's a good deal. That's
Now,
That's in color.
I want everyone to take a look at it, and I gave some notes to Cheney today. I got this the other day. So I made some notes as I was going through it, and just a couple comments that I had, and I don't want to change, just to let you know what some of the things I was looking at. Some of the photographs I'd like to have changed off of the cover,
I'm seeing that.
and you guys can come up with your own little thoughts on that too. I think that we should identify our Facebook or social media page a little bit more on here. Twitter, if we're on Twitter.
Can you make my head smaller?
We can change any of these photos. These are, none of this is a concept. This is a concept that we have here. I want to put some information about the elections. I want to put information about Elk Landing's not in here. There's
Yeah.
also discussion, there's nothing that talks about our parks in here. It doesn't talk about Meadow Park. We got a couple of pavilions for rent. We got,
That
Yes,
is
you got
all in the
the tennis
relocation
courts.
guide, that we update every year. It's within the folder, when
Mhm.
someone comes in and they're relocating to
let's
the
put
town.
it doesn't hurt to have it in there.
So,
I would put it in here.
You can
Yeah.
transfer what you have into there.
And the map that you gave us is a great map, but it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
oh, I
10.
mean, they're just.
But there's no code to it.
Yeah, we have probably a million different maps,
There's,
so.
no one knows what number building 15 is.
Right.
So
I don't know much.
No
there's,
index.
there's no index to it. But I gave all my notes to Cheney, but I want everyone to look through, there's no hotline for the police department here. I want the 398-4200 pound 9, but I want to let them know that it's not 911. This is the tip hotline. So take a look at it, make any changes, add any pictures that we want to add. The one thing on trash collection I did want to say, in the city of, not that we have to do it this time, but I go bring up grass clippings again. If we could ever get the clippings in and we just put them in a Tupperware container, it would keep them off the streets. In here you'll read that Dan is stating he doesn't want them in any media, like and use the Elkton Heights as an example. In the Elkton Heights, we don't want the grass clippings to be put in the circle of the Heights. Well, people do it all the time. Well, they do it all the time because we've never told them any different. So these are things that will be in here that we can, whatever we want to put in here, we want to make sure that we follow. So everyone take a look at it, make your notes, and get it back to Michelle or
Like
Jane.
the concept, if it was essential information, we still have it printed, we still have it mailed out, although they have to come to our website to download the big one. It would cost us less money, and it would also get the individual used to coming to our website and check things out, though, and
It
for
would.
signing up for programs and stuff like that.
When I first saw the very first one, it was when I took my son back to College Park, and it was sitting on the porch. And I grabbed it and I looked at it, and it says College Park Residence Guide, because they go through so many students. They want everyone every year to know, you put the trash out this day. You're not allowed to put an old refrigerator out in front, a lot of different things. And I said, you know, we really haven't done that in a while, that I'm aware of. So, make your notes.
No, I like the concept, I just think it'd be a little smaller and drive residents to our website.
Mhm.
So this way they can sign up, the police department, they can sign up for the Alliance, they can sign up for all of these things, social media, to get all the different alerts that are going on also.
And what we did, and just another FYI, we put the amount of pages in here, and I'd say maybe 10 or 12 pages is Parks and Rec, because they're going to do another mailing for the spring, so I kind of thought, this is a way to save them money. It's all done at one time. So I think they've been paying a lot more than $5,000 collectively.
I think so, and if I may add, the information you're looking at is applicable to fall, winter. So once we move forward, they'll have the new spring, summer guide for Parks and Rec, so we'll update it with spring, summer information. And we thought those 2 times a year, we could put something like that out. It might not always be that big, it might be a little bigger once in a while.
Plus, we're going to send this out twice a year.
That is correct, because it'll be in conjunction with, that's what we
So
thought we
you're looking
could.
at 10 grand a year, not 5 grand.
And we could put it together with Parks and Rec, so that
It's
when
still
they
less
send
than
theirs
Parks and
out
Rec
twice
today.
a year, we add to it.
Less than Parks and Rec.
That's true.
How much are they paying?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it was over $7,000 is what my number was.
I thought I recalled 7,000 as well.
Yeah, so-
I think.
Well, listen, that's all I have. That was all on the agenda. Give it some thought about making this an early meeting. We got Mr. Lemon, we got we're gonna start bringing you right up to the table with us.
That's a lot of attendance if they do.
Yes, it doesn't matter if we're at 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
Louis, what were you saying about the intended rec center and bringing a road, a street from East Side Street over?
When you build this, the only options to access it will be Stockton Street and around the Blue Street building. So
Right.
you would actually build a road from Southton and High into the school board property next to the credit union will come out. That's where you draw, that would be the access you know, and the school would love it.
Van Renen Drive, we're
And,
gonna call it.
and there are a lot of parcels right there on College.
Yeah, there's, I think there's, 15 or
So take me where you will be from the barber shop.
Is it Berkeley
To the
Avenue?
left of the barber shop. Down on Collins.
That was named after my grandfather.
Grass area straight through?
You have to actually line up there. It'll want- it just-
I have a map.
Line up.
Michelle, we'll go ahead and adjourn.
Someone-
Yeah, that's true.
Berkeley,